Ah, there we go. Good morning, Audrey. Morning, John. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to have be finicky when I'm off Wi-Fi. Morning, Gautam. I mean, I think most people don't have unlimited data anymore, so phones are probably set up to not do things like this on off Wi-Fi. I have to look at my settings, but morning, Maxwell. All right, so let's get started. Today's Tuesday, so that we're on an English day. That means page 10. Homage to the sublime one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Homage to the sublime one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Homage to the sublime one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. I go to the Buddha for refuge. I go to the Dhamma for refuge. I go to the Sangha for refuge. A second time I go to the Buddha for refuge. A second time I go to the Dhamma for refuge. A second time I go to the Sangha for refuge. A third time I go to the Buddha for refuge. A third time I go to the Dhamma for refuge. A third time I go to the Sangha for refuge. The three refuges are complete. I undertake the training rule to abstain from taking life. I undertake the training rule to abstain from taking what is not given. I undertake the training rule to abstain from sensual misconduct. I undertake the training rule to abstain from false speech. I undertake the training rule to abstain from intoxicating drinks and drugs causing heedlessness. Having well undertaken and kept the 5 precepts together with the 3 refuges, one should strive on with diligence. With morality, good rebirth is gained. With morality, wealth is achieved. With morality, perfect peace is attained. Therefore, morality should be purified. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, I don't know why I would get lost. I'm on it. My phone says 5G. If I'm frying my brain for the Dhamma, it better work. Okay. So let's do page 24. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Such indeed is the Sublime One, worthy, perfectly enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, well gone, knower of the world, supreme trainer of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened and exalted. Well expounded is the Dhamma by the Sublime One, directly visible, unaffected by time, calling one to come and see, leading onwards to be realized by the wise. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing well. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is of upright conduct. The order of the Sublime One's disciples has entered the right path. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing correctly. That is, the 4 pairs of persons, the 8 kinds of individuals. This order of the Sublime One's disciples is worthy of offerings and hospitality, worthy of gifts and salutation, supreme field of merit for the world. The Buddha, well purified with ocean-like compassion, possessed of the eye of knowledge, completely purified, destroyer of the evils and corruption of the world, I revere that Buddha with devotion. Homage to you, so nobly bred, homage to you amongst men supreme. Peerless are you in all the world, may all homage be given to you. The teacher's Dhamma, like a lamp, divided into path, fruition, and the deathless, both itself transcendent and showing the way to that goal. I revere that Dhamma with devotion. Thoroughly understanding the Dhamma, and freed from longing through insight, the wise one who is rid of all desire, is calm as a pool unstirred by wind. Those to whom the Dhamma is clear are not led into other doctrines. Perfectly enlightened with perfect knowledge, they walk evenly over the uneven. Of all the medicines in the world, manifold and various, there is none like the medicine of Dhamma. Therefore, O monks, drink of this. Having drunk this Dhamma medicine, you will be ageless and beyond death. Having developed and seen the truth, you will be quenched, free from craving. The Sangha called the field better than the best, who have seen peace, awakening after the Buddha's good way, who have abandoned attachment, the noble ones, the wise. I revere that Sangha with devotion. Happy is the arising of the Buddhas. Happy is the teaching of the true Dhamma. Happy is the unity of the Sangha. Happy is the discipline of the united ones. They go to many a refuge, those who have been struck by fear. They go to mountains and forests, to parks and trees and shrines. But none of these is a secure refuge. None is the refuge supreme. Not by relying on such a refuge can one be freed from all suffering. But one who has gone for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha sees with perfect wisdom the 4 noble truths: suffering, the arising of suffering, the transcending of suffering, and the Noble Eightfold Path that leads to suffering's final end. This is the refuge that is secure. This is the refuge that is supreme. By relying on such a refuge as this, one is released from all suffering. By this practice of Dhamma, in accord with the Dhamma, I respect the Buddha. By this practice of Dhamma, in accord with the Dhamma, I respect the Dhamma. By this practice of Dhamma, in accord with the Dhamma, I respect the Sangha. All actions are led by the mind. Mind is their master. Mind is their maker. Actors speak with a defiled state of mind, then suffering follows as the cartwheel follows the foot of the ox. All actions are led by the mind. Mind is their master. Mind is their maker. Actors speak with a pure state of mind, then happiness follows as your shadow follows you without departing. Impermanent are all conditioned things, affected by rising and falling away. Having arisen, they must cease. Blissful is it when they subside. Abstaining from all evil, doing what is good, cleansing one's mind, this is the teaching of all the Buddhas. Patience is the highest practice. Nibbana is supreme, say the Buddhas. A mendicant does not harm others. A recluse oppresses no one. Not insulting, not harming, restrained according to the moral code, moderating in food, dwelling in solitude, engaging in higher mental development, this is the teaching of all the Buddhas. By the blessings that have arisen from my practice, may my venerable preceptors and teachers who have helped me, mother, father, and relatives, male and female rulers, worldly powers, the virtuous human beings, the higher beings, demons, and high gods, the guardian deities of the world, celestial beings, the Lord of death, friendly people, indifferent and hostile, may all beings be well. May the skillful deeds done by me bring you threefold bliss. May this quickly bring you to the deathless. By means of this meritorious deed and through this aspiration, may I quickly attain the cutting off of craving and clinging. Whatever faults I have until I am liberated, may they quickly perish. Wherever I am born, may there be an upright mind, mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May no harmful influences weaken my efforts. The Buddha is the unsurpassed protector. Dhamma is the supreme protection. Peerless is the silent Buddha. The Sangha is my true refuge. By the power of these exalted ones, may I rise above all defilements. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the foolish. May I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering, and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, secondary chant, page 165. First page of Dhammanupassana. Nivarana Pabang. Katang cha bhikkhave bhikkhu dhammesu dhammanupassi viharati. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu dhammesu dhammanupassi viharati panchasu nivaranaesu. Katang cha bhikkhave bhikkhu dhammesu dhammanupassi viharati panchasu nivaranesu. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu santang va ajjatang kammachandang attime ajjatang kammachandoti pajanati. Asantang va ajjatang kammachandang natime ajjatang kammachandoti pajanati. Yata cha anupannassa kammachandassa uppado hoti tancha pajanati. Yata cha uppannassa kammachandassa pahanang hoti tancha pajanati. Yata cha pahinassa kammachandassa ayating anuppado hoti tancha pajanati. Santang va ajjatang vyapadang attimeya jattang vyapado tipajanati. Asantang va ajjatang vyapadang natimeya jattang vyapado tipajanati. Yata cha anuppannassa vyapadassa uppado hoti tancha pajanati. Yata cha uppannassa vyapadassa pahanang hoti tancha pajanati. Yata cha pahinassa vyapadassa ayating anuppado hoti tancha pajanati. Santang va ajjatang tina middang attimeya jattang tina middanti pajanati. Asantang va ajatang tina middang nati me ajatang tina middanti pajanati. Yata cha anupannassa tina middassa upado hoti tancha pajanati. Yata cha uppannassa tina middassa pahanang hoti tancha pajanati. Yata cha pahinassa tina middassa ayating anupado hoti tancha pajanati. Santang va ajatang uddhacha kukuchang atime ajatang uddhacha kukuchanti pajanati. Asantang va ajatang uddhacha kukuchang natime ajatang uddhacha kukuchanti pajanati. Yata cha anupannassa uddhacha kukuchassa upado hoti tancha pajanati. Yata cha uppannassa uddhacha kukuchassa pahanang hoti tancha pajanati. Yata cha pahinassa uddhacha kukuchassa ayating anupado hoti tancha pajanati. Alright, English. And how, bhikkhus, does a bhikkhu dwell contemplating phenomena in phenomena? Here, a bhikkhu dwells contemplating phenomena in terms of the 5 hindrances. And how does a bhikkhu dwell contemplating phenomena in terms of the 5 hindrances? Here, there being sensual desire in him, a bhikkhu understands, there is sensual desire in me. Or there being no sensual desire in him, he understands, there is no sensual desire in me. And he also understands how there comes to be the arising of the unarisen sensual desire, and how there comes to be the abandoning of arisen sensual desire, and how there comes to be the future non-arising of abandoned sensual desire. There being ill will in him, a bhikkhu understands, there is ill will in me. Or there being no ill will in him, he understands, there is no ill will in me. And he also understands how there comes to be the arising of unarisen ill will, and how there comes to be the abandoning of arisen ill will, and how there comes to be the future non-arising of abandoned ill will. There being dullness and drowsiness in him, a bhikkhu understands there is dullness and drowsiness in me. Or there being no dullness and drowsiness in him, he understands there is no dullness and drowsiness in me. And he also understands how there comes to be the arising of unarisen dullness and drowsiness, and how there comes to be the abandoning of arisen dullness and drowsiness, and how there comes to be the future non-arising of abandoned dullness and drowsiness. There being restlessness and remorse in him, a bhikkhu understands there is restlessness and remorse in me. Or there being no restlessness or remorse in him, he understands there is no restlessness or remorse in me. And he also understands how there comes to be the arising of unarisen restlessness and remorse, and how there comes to be the abandoning of arisen restlessness and remorse, and how there comes to be the future non-arising of abandoned restlessness and remorse. All right, friends, let's do our thought of the day. I believe we are on the second paragraph of page 131. I believe yesterday we did disenchanted with the nose. So now we're on disenchanted with the tongue. Evang pasang bhikkhave sutavarya savako jivaya pina bindati rase su pina bindati jivha vinyane pina bindati jivha sampasse pina bindati yadidang jivha sampassa pacchaya upajjati vedyatang sukkang va dukkang sukkang va tasming pina bindati. Perceiving this, bhikkhus, the learned and noble disciple becomes disenchanted with the tongue, with tastes, with tongue consciousness, with tongue contact, and whatever sensation, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, which originates in dependence on tongue contact, with that he becomes disenchanted. Okay, friends, so this is the tongue becoming disenchanted. This is, as we saw before, right? The tongue is on fire. The tongue is on fire with greed, hatred, and delusion, right? With likes and dislikes, with old age, sickness, and death, right? So the tongue is on fire. But when we see that with wisdom, the tongue is not on fire anymore. Tasting is just tasting. Right? Now that's a hard one, right? Because when we sit down to eat, ooh, I like this, I don't like that. You know, when you're growing up, or even today, maybe you're as an adult, like, you know, you have a bunch of different things on the plate, and there's some things on the plate you just don't like, and some things you really like, right? And so you might think it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna eat just these things I like, and I'm gonna save the stuff that I don't like till last, right? Or some, like me, it was, let me just plow through eating the stuff I didn't like so I can enjoy the stuff I liked, right? You have all these likes and dislikes, these different things of how we eat the food. But in reality, food is just food, right? This is one of the important aspects, teachings and practices of reflecting on our food, right? Why do we eat? We eat just for the purpose of maintaining the health of this body, not for pleasure and adornment and, you know, all these other kind of things, right? But in the tasting, there is only tasting. Everything else, we add to it. We add the flames. We add the fire to it. Not easy to see, right? Not easy to see. But when you start to see it, you say, oh, okay, yeah, I'm making this stuff worse for myself, right? So friends, today, all day, we can work with the tongue and taste. Observe where the fire arises. Observe if it goes away, right? Observe the feeling. When you eat today, be very mindful of the tongue and tastes. And so, friends, this is the final morning monastery experience until I come back in November or December. And we've been doing this now here 5 to 6 days a week since November. So we've been doing this a good 7 or 8 months, somewhere around there. And so we're going to take a little break for a couple months, 4 or 5 months. And then, of course, we'll be back. I really enjoy doing this because, especially by myself, it's good for anybody who wants to join us, but it's also good for me because by myself, right, it's very easy to just like, well, I don't want to do chanting. I don't want to do, I shouldn't do this, right? But it's good that I actually keep this going because then I don't lose my Pali pronunciations and all this kind of stuff. And it's good to hear the Dhamma and chant the Dhamma every morning. Right? So as long as I am not in a seclusion kind of a thing, and as long as I have internet and able to do it, I'll keep doing this, you know, because I really like it. And we've created quite a close, small family here every morning at Morning Monastery Experience. So it's good to be with you all. So until next time, friends, Sukhi Hotu, may you be happy. Practice well and be well.